Hey guys, it's San and welcome back to the BulbaSquad. So today we are going to be doing a spider system over the Sword and Shield base set. I want to just start running through it like this because it's much easier. I get to show you more graphics, more actual things on screen, and I can make my thoughts more thorough, or I can interpret better because before I was limited by my poor handwriting versus now I can actually properly communicate with you guys via typing. I'm not that fast at typing, but you will clearly be able to read what I am typing. And I have actually gone ahead and taken the initiative to prepare it all ahead of time because there's so many thoughts I had on paper that I have to write it all down ahead of time, otherwise I would have forgotten things. And I'm also going to provide a little update for the channel right now. I'm going to be reducing the content to one video a week. However, that video is going to be longer and it is going to be more dense informationally. It's not going to be just kind of surface level glimpsing things, kind of how I have been recently trying to stretch my content. I've decided, you know what, the hobby is indeed slowing down, so I shouldn't jeopardize the quality of the content in exchange for quantity. So I'm going to go ahead, reduce it to one, but these are going to be in-depth videos. I might still go beyond that and make 2 a week sometimes if there is immediate breaking news or something that is really interesting to me that I want to make a video at that particular moment. Otherwise, I will most likely be sticking to one video a week, and I believe I'm going to be releasing them on Saturdays, so that way it's easiest for you guys to watch. So, thank you guys for joining us, and without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so this is the Sword and Shield base set spider system. As you can tell, I have modified it just a little bit in how I kind of go through it instead of just a yes-no. I've added a grading scale, but I'll explain that in a moment. First, tell me, would you guys like me to give you the blank template? Because I have a blank template of all this. I just have to finish modifying it slightly because I made some changes after I did that, but that's besides the point. Would you guys like me to make either the spider systems of each individual one public in a way that you can modify them, make it perhaps just a view-only Word document, or possibly just give you the blank template? Tell me, what would you guys like me to do? Just tell me down below in the comments and I'll go ahead and do it. Because this is a tool I want to give you guys. That's always been the point. That's why this has never been paywalled and this has always been completely free. So let's hop right into it. My 4 constants are actually exactly the same. In this case, Charizard, there is no Charizard. Diversity, there's not much diversity in this set. So the reason I believe that is that when I look at it right away, we have, where is it? Zacian, Zamazenta, sure, that's 2. But then it's Marnie, Snorlax. I'm going based off of the prices. The prices tell you what people are actually interested in. If there's a lot of similar prices, and that tells me, okay, all these different items are in the same vein. But look, Snorlax, Marnie, Zacian, Zamazenta, and then this Quick Ball all stand out from the crowd. There's just not too many things. Lapras VMAX also kind of goes with it, but then we get down to the full arts. Marnie, that's very much a standout. Then it's kind of Zacian, Zamazenta, Snorlax. Sableye, I anticipate is probably playable, so this is going to be changing. So, diversity-wise, I don't feel it's that great. Shinies? No, we don't actually have shinies. This is the only Sword and Shield set that has gold Pokemon that were not shiny. That's just what they ended up doing. Waifus? I think it's technically yes, even though it's not really plural. Let's see, we have Professor's Research and Bead. So, unless if you want to count a Twink as a waifu, that's not going to count. And I don't think too many people like GILFs, so, you know, we're going to just leave it. And actually, let's go ahead and modify that just a little bit. Waifu. There we go. Now, we'll leave it as waifu. That's bothering me. Supply. Alright, so supply, plain and simple. Actually, before I do that, I have to explain this system. So, I do it on a scale of 1 to 5 now. Undesirable conditions is 1, not the worst condition, but certainly not desirable. 2, acceptable, so passing grade is a 3. 4 is an acceptable condition, exceptional condition, and 5 is perfect circumstances. So going based off of this, supply at release, it was a 1. There was just a ton of supply, way more than what people wanted at the time, and that's why it was so cheap. At release, Sword and Shield just didn't move for quite a long time. It was so abundant that when Darkness Ablaze came out, they actually did essentially a BOGO. I believed you bought, what was it? You bought a Darkness Ablaze pack, and then you would get a Sword and Shield base set pack, and the price for the bundle was $4. So you basically got each pack for $2. You bought 36 of them. That's a $72 booster box. That was incredibly cheap. Then, as for playability, I put it as a 4. Again, remember, I'm not an expert when it comes to playability. I'm still looking for someone to consult with on playability. So if anyone's interested, you're more than welcome to come forward, and I'll probably consult with you whenever I need to know the history of playability in sets. I labeled it as a 4. Yes, from as far as I can tell, there were playable cards in the set. Considering this far in advance, we still have things like Sableye having value, and I know Quick Ball is definitely something that has value because it's playable and probably because it's shiny. So going based off of that, I inference that, okay, because that's how that is, I'm going to go ahead and close that. Because that's how that is, probably at release it was relevant because it was bringing in a whole new generation with mechanics. So that's my assumption. Intrinsic / price. I put this in because this is actually a little equation. I wanted to put intrinsic value, but then it kind of made the box look weird and ugly, so I decided to cut the value and just put over price. So here's how it goes. Put the dollar amount for the intrinsic value over the price, and then you can multiply it by 100 to get yourself the percentage of the price. It's not the greatest ratio, but this is actually about average for a lot of sets. You usually don't want a 1-to-1 correlation, because if that happens, arbitrage is going to occur, and it's eventually going to go to something like this. So for that reason, I gave it a 3. Deviation. I gave it a 2 in this case, because some cards were far more playable than others. Deviation was high. So that I can see right away. Quick Ball is worth way more than Ordinary Rod or Metal Saucer or even Air Balloon. Hell, I think you can combine all 3 of them and it's still worth less than the Quick Ball. Then these two right here. These two are kind of standouts in terms of value, but then we go back to the Rainbow Rares. $4, $6, $27, $5, $28, $6, $9, $17. And then we go to Full Arts. It's even worse. There's the $38 Marnie, with the next highest one being just under $10. So this right here is big deviation, especially with the Marnie Full Art, because what it means is most of your value is being derived from 1 or 2 cards that you're going to pull more likely, okay? Remember, Full Arts, you pull about 2, maybe 3 in a box, versus Rainbow Rares, you pull 1 in every 2 boxes, so you got about 50-50 shot of getting one usually. And then this is about a 1 in 3 chance of pulling any of these gold cards. Even though they're all classified as secret rares, that's about the pull rates I've noticed. So deviation's not the best. Except in the gold cards, I suppose, you have a 1 in 2 chance of pulling a somewhat high value card, which is nice. But Rainbow Rares, it's not nice, and it gets even worse when you get to Full Arts. And because of that, I have to score it rather low when it comes to deviation. Now, expectations. I gave it a 3 because excitement was tenable, since it was a new generation but nothing extraordinary. Yeah, there was excitement, certainly, because of the fact that Vs and VMAXs were coming in, and they were going to get new mechanics, and it was just going to be a new gen, obviously. And let's be honest, Lapras and Snorlax do look relatively nice, especially when you look at them in the set itself, which I actually completely forgot to show you guys the set. Like, Lapras looks nice, and then, I have no clue where Snorlax is. I think he's down here in normal types. There he is. I can see where the excitement was coming from. But again, it wasn't anything extraordinary that people were going absolutely insane over. And because a 5 for expectations, think Champion's Path. Think Shining Fates. This is nowhere near that level. This is passing. Whereas we have something like Rebel Clash, that's closer to a 2. Now, reality, it was a 2. Expectations were met and product was actively available but far exceeded demand. Because there was so much more product than demand, the ratio on the intrinsic value never really got incredibly high. It wasn't the best. Oh yeah, I pulled this information from a Reddit post. I actually completely forgot to find him. I apologize for that. And deviation means that your intrinsic value is even harder to reach. As for playability, yeah, that was nice and all, but supply was just far too much. So from an investor standpoint, this wasn't anything special. It just kind of drew your attention, but it wasn't anything that you have to invest in at this particular moment. However, we have modern day. We are now from 12 to 24 months, about to hit the out of rotation period and onward. Supply is a 4, because there are 11 on TCG Player. I counted about 22 on eBay. Between DA Card World, David Adams Card World, and Troll and Toad, there's 1. And Safari Zone has 5. And then I went ahead and I asked some card stores. Multiple card stores said they had 0. 0. Can you imagine that? Of a set that's... it still has almost a full year in rotation left. I asked Mason Cardinal Game, and I asked him, hey, how much of Sword and Shield base do you have? He said none. And Mason, as we all know, is kind of a hoarder and doesn't like to sell his product. He likes to keep it. So the fact that even he has none is quite astounding. You guys, I want to just further drive home this point. So look, I did Sword and Shield base set booster box minus pack minus elites. This is all there is. There's 13 results. Some of these have multiple in them. And I believe in total it ends up being 22. But 22 on eBay? Where most of the Timmies and flippers and everyone is usually at trying to sell their product like this for $300? Like, you understand why it's so confusing. Like, I know it's Canada, but you get my point. It's bizarre. It doesn't make sense. Let's say we go on TCG Player. Again, a big marketplace. This is where most card stores like to sell. So, market price, I don't really care about this. It means nothing to me. We go here and ignore these because these are booster pack pseudo booster boxes. We got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 booster boxes. Are you kidding me? And there were a few. That's why there's less, because there were a few sales yesterday, so 2 sold. What is going on? Honestly, and there's not even that many sales that have been going on. Because look, let's say we go for over the last week. There have only been about 5 sales, 1 per day, for 1 booster box. Which means the supply could have possibly been obliterated towards the beginning. So let's actually update that. The supply has practically been obliterated. And the way I figured out DA Card World, Troll and Toad, and Safari Zone is I entered these absurd numbers for booster boxes, and then they told me no, 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 until I hit the number that they had exactly in stock, and then it told me. Troll and Toad was completely out, DA Card World had 1, and Safari Zone had 5. This is this is like on the precipice of being a 5. It's just so difficult to tell right now, okay? So I'd actually change my score a little bit to 4/5. It's so difficult to tell. Playability, the importance of the set is subsiding due to its age. Yes, as cards have become more important to the meta, they just got reprinted in new formats, lower rarities, easier to acquire, they were in promos, etc. And we are almost at the rotation, so the importance really isn't there. But that's not a bad thing, okay? That's really not a bad thing. The reason it's not is because at this point in time, the less important it is for playability, the less likely they are to reprint it, per se. So you understand my point? Intrinsic value. $44, by my math, is the intrinsic value of a $200 box. 22%. That ratio has grown so much worse. So much worse. Deviation, it's just about the same. It's just shifted into Marnie and what few playable cards there are. 2, nobody is looking, honestly. Nobody's really looking at all. This one I might actually have to workshop the way the expectations work, because this is a little more difficult to do. Reality. 4. The set is nearing out of rotation and nobody is watching. It is a solid gamble in my opinion. So the reason I say this is, we have supply that is dwindling, shockingly enough, in the age of there is infinite supply, infinite product out there, and yet where is it? I couldn't purchase a pallet of Sword and Shield base from online if I wanted to. Maybe there's plenty in distributors. I'm going to have to talk with them. But as far as I can tell, on the open market, there's not much. So unless if there's armies of Timmies holding this product, like hundreds of cases out in the wild, The thing is, I can speculate and postulate on that as much as I want, but the fact of the matter is, there is no solid data for me to actually make any form of tenable claim. Anything I say is just redundant because at the end of the day, anything can happen. There could be a million boxes out there. There could be like 12. Obviously, 12 is exaggeration, but you take my point. So, taking that into account and the intrinsic value, we have a very precarious situation. There's a reason I said it's a gamble. The moment it goes out of rotation, you should, for the most part, be free from reprints. Obviously, they can reprint, but the thing is, the risk of the reprint is negligible. I've done it before, and I've said it again. It's basically the risk of driving to work. Yes, you can end up in a car crash, and God forbid, you can die. But that is not outweighed. That is outweighed by the fact that you're going to get paid to make a living at the job. That's kind of the risk I see the risk reward proposal I'm seeing here. The playability subsiding only further helps to solidify this. If it's not meta relevant, Pokemon is, as far as I can tell, it doesn't seem like they're quite as incentivized to reprint it immediately, because otherwise it's not having an immediate impact on the community. But the price is very worrisome. We still have another year to go, and this is a $200 box. This is very expensive. I think this is the only $200 box right now, and it's really a coin toss at this point in time. If they reprint it, this is all done. It doesn't matter what we saw. That intrinsic value is going to get worse. Well, I think it'll get worse because people will crack it, more supply out there, so price has to fall. Obviously, price of the box will fall, so who knows? Maybe it gets worse. I don't know. I can't actually be certain about that. And deviation, that's not going to change. Expectations, this is also kind of risky. If people suddenly start paying attention and trying to buy up the product, that's going to put upwards pressure on the price, thus drawing Pokemon's ire, or TPCI's ire. So you kind of see my points. And this is the interpretation I have. This set has potential to be a solid choice, but is in a precarious position. The price is high. In an age of reprints, it may draw the ire of TPCI, the Pokemon Company Incorporated. If it does, then this will be completely different. If it does not, this may be a sleeper set among Titans. Because, yes, this is much weaker when we compare it to the alternate art sets, but the circumstances surrounding it at this particular moment really give you the possibility of it becoming a sleeper set. So now we're going to do some predict the future stuff. Supply, no clue what's going to happen. It really could go either way. This could either absolutely obliterate the market if they decide to reprint it, or it could sucker punch the whole market in the future because nobody's really expecting anything from this set, but the supply is just, it's not there. Like, at least on the open market, as far as I can see, it's just not there. Playability, 0. It really doesn't matter, okay? Playability only matters in these 2 points in time, less so here as we enter the out-of-rotation phase. But here, it really matters, because this will put attrition on the product. You want attrition. You want to drive that supply down. Intrinsic price, I speculate it will actually go down. The reason I think the intrinsic value will go down is because as more supply hits the market, it'll get cracked, and then some of those cards will be worth even less, especially because we have more versions of said cards. Deviation, it's probably going to stay at 2. I really don't see anything changing in the foreseeable future. I don't see, where is it? I don't suddenly see more Peko coming out and competing with Lapras. I don't see Team Yo Grunt dethroning Marnie, or even competing with it, so I don't see very many changes coming in the foreseeable future. Expectations, no clue. I can't predict what people are going to feel like, because remember, people thought Champion's Path was the greatest thing ever, and then it flunked. You can see how fast expectations changed. Reality is, your guess is as good as mine. But that's all I got for you guys today. I plan on actually covering every single Sword and Shield set that is going out of rotation this year. That is going to be Base, Trash, Dab, Vivid Voltage, and Driveway, Champion's Driveway. So those 5 sets, I believe, are going out of rotation this year. Unfortunately, Pokemon has not announced the rotation as far as I can tell. So I'm going to be doing one spider system over each individual one, making them nice and dense like this, and then we're going to go into the intra-set optimization, where I look at all the individual product lines, and I'm going to pull my bias out of it this time, better than before, and we're going to better evaluate everything, including things like blisters, 3-pack blisters, sleeve boosters, things like that, because those potentially do have actual merit in them, even though I personally do not like them. But it is a disservice to you guys for me to allow that bias to interfere with pure data. So that's all I got for you guys today. Tell me, what did you guys think about this data? Do you disagree with any of my scores? Do you think that maybe this set deserves a higher score? Oh, I forgot to show it. It got a 16 out of 30, so a little bit above halfway. The score in the end, it just kind of helps give you some perspective. It doesn't mean a definitive, oh, this is fantastic. Because if you get a 30 and it's like in release, that's not good because things can change a lot along the way. If we look at it here, what is it? 1, 5, 8, 10. We had a 15, so the score actually improved from the release, but not by much. I like that. I like that approach. I like it being slow. But do you agree with my score? And if you don't, tell me why. Do you think that perhaps this system could be further upgraded? If so, drop that comment down below in the comments. And if you guys really enjoyed the video, enjoyed the channel, you want to see more content like this, consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.